1-1 after 90 minutes, and then England went mad, basically, and thought, we don't go through to the final. A couple of stupid goals gifted to the Dutch. They are through. England are in the fourth place match. Now, that'd be exciting against Switzerland. Overall, Stevie, the Dutch deserve to win it, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there was one football team out there and one team that were organised and defend. I say defended well. They other than the two horrendous goals that they gave away, they defended in numbers and tightly. But, I mean, Holland were just streets ahead of them.
They really were, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And let's be honest, Holland played a part in conceding the opening goal themselves.
Yep.
Saying that, England, but for a very close offside decision, maybe could have got the winner after 90 minutes. But on the balance of play, the Dutch were by far the better. In the end, a just result, despite the errors that gave those mistakes away. And for what has been, some may seem as a glorified friendly, I don't think I've seen you more disappointed or Stevie more happy in the same room.
Don't start
That was
spinning
fun.
that tale.
I'm just saying. That told a story.
What's happened to John Stones? Was supposed to be the future of England's defence. Didn't play for the remaining games for Manchester City. Listen, in that key run.
Correct me if I am wrong, right? John Stones has been making mistakes, regardless of whether it's been with Everton, with City, or with England. Mm-hmm. You know, John Stones hasn't changed. John Stones can play for 90 minutes and be superb for 88 of those, and then there's a couple of minutes where he just gambles. As the last man, you can't afford to gamble, and he does it continuously. And that's why, at the end of the second part of the season particularly, he never featured for Manchester City. So for him to be thrown in this game, it's a gamble as well. I think Southgate gambled by playing him. So he's not doing anything we don't know that's going to happen.
Yeah, at the same time, you expect John Stones to mature a little bit and to learn through experience, whether that experience is on the field or on the sidelines. When he was at Everton, he was billed as the next ball-carrying centre-half for England because he could pass the ball out to the back. And as bad as he was defensively, you thought, well, he had the tools to be a whole lot better, and it was only a matter of a little bit of experience, a little bit of time before he delivered on that promise. But instead, he simply hasn't improved defensively. He continues to take unnecessary risks at the back and has become a huge liability for club, and now, on today's evidence, too much of a liability for country.
It's incredible, Raph, how his stock has fallen, given that at the time he was one of the record signings when it came to defenders, not only in the Premier League, but in the world.
It is, and he had a decent start under Guardiola, and it looked as if he might be the coach that gets the most out of him. Remember, passing is not just down to the guy on the ball. You also need options. You need the midfield to be available, the midfield also to be brave to wanting balls in different positions. I think this England team aren't, and that's why the problems that some of these players have are exacerbated tonight. They also looked really tired. There was a lack of rhythm. All these things contributed, but I agree with you. Stones, every time we think that we see sort of the real mature Stones evolving, there seems to be another setback. And he's got a big season ahead of him because there is an opportunity, but there's also a long way to go, I think, if he wants to establish himself at City.
Raph, you're obviously based in England. How big a deal is this result?
Well, now that England have lost, the Nations League is not important at all. If they had gone through, it'd be a different story. But I was just thinking, remember Jurgen Klopp was saying that he could write a book about winning semi-finals, nobody would read it. Well, maybe Gareth Southgate might want to read it.
Wow.
That was low.
Sorry, I know, it was just an open goal. No, England were a bit unlucky, but I think to go back to that point, you could see that there were two teams there who hadn't played together a single game in, 6-7 months, a proper competitive game, who hadn't played football at all in 3 weeks, most of them. And that disjointedness, that lack of rhythm, always made for a fairly chaotic game. It could have gone either way. Ultimately, I think the team who had a midfield that could cap the ball better and played a bit better, saw sort of their superiority come to the fore over the 120 minutes.